Today we're back on the Am I the A-hole subreddit and I'm so excited, and I hope you guys are too. It's always so fun on here. Doing a late night episode today, so I don't know if it's going to be even more intense because of that. Probably going to have nightmares, but it's okay. As always, thank you for joining me guys, and I hope you have a wonderful time. Am I the a-hole? I have stage 4 cancer and I said no crap to what I thought was in-laws' weird and insensitive comment. I have stage 4 cancer with young kids and a wife. Probably gonna die within 1 to 2 years, so my fuse is shortened with certain people. In-laws say to me, it must be so hard for your family and what your family is going through. I want you to know this is not your fault. They've said something similar to me before and I just said I know and moved on. This time I couldn't take it and I said no crap. It's pretty obvious I didn't deserve cancer and I know it's not my fault for getting it. She became upset and told a few people I was rude to her. Should I apologize? Am I misunderstanding what point she was trying to make? The only way I can think of taking it is that there could be a thought in people's mind that it was my fault for getting cancer and making things so hard for my family. I'm young, I've lived a healthy life, not that I would deserve cancer, even if I didn't, so I don't get it. Am I being overly sensitive? Was she just looking for a goodwill hunting moment? I honestly don't get her point. And like the top comment says, not the a-hole, focus on your health and well-being. Her feelings about your response to her foolish comment are hers to manage. If anyone is owed an apology, it's you. You may want to reduce your exposure to this person. You don't need her extra drama. Oh my god, no, 100%. Yeah, a strong not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for taking back a shawl that my wife made for a bride-to-be after she was uninvited from the wedding? My wife Lena crochets a lot and often gives it to friends and family. When her second oldest brother got married, she made the bride a shawl to wear over her dress. The bride loved it, and ever since Lena has made shawls for everyone in her family that's getting married. Now Lena's older brother George is getting married again. Lena doesn't have a relationship with George as he was abusive to her as a child, but if she has to see him, she's polite but distant with him. She doesn't want to cut off the rest of her family because of George. I work with George, and while we aren't friends, we are friendly at work. Lena encouraged this. When George got moved to my team, I was going to request a transfer, not wanting to expose Lena to George, as my team do a lot of get-togethers with our significant others. As it's a family wedding, Lena's mum asked her if she could crochet a shawl for George's fiance, and Lena agreed. It was arranged that once it was finished, I would take it to work to give it to George, so that Lena didn't have to see him. Earlier this week, the shawl was completed, and I emailed George at work to let him know that I was going to bring it in today as the wedding is tomorrow. When I got into work this morning, I gave George the shawl, and I let him know that Lena and I were looking forward to the wedding. Come lunchtime, Lena called me to let me know that George's fiance had called her and told her that she was no longer invited to the wedding, citing the place that they're having the wedding and the reception at as too small for the number that they have coming, so they have to make cutbacks. However, I was still invited to the wedding. I was mad at this because they clearly only invited Lena to get a shawl, which to me is just rude. If they had outright asked her to make one, she probably would have done because she loves to crochet. On my way out of work, I noticed that George wasn't at his desk, but the shawl was. I was still mad that they used Lena to get a shawl, and I just shoved it in my work bag. I left a note on his desk telling George since Lena was no longer invited, the shawl and I would no longer be attending either. On my way home, I told Lena what I'd done, and I asked her if she wanted to go out instead, so not to waste having a sitter. Lena was upset that I'd taken the shawl as it was causing an uproar in her family group chat, where people were calling her petty because I took it back. Lena wants me to give it back. I don't think I should. They don't deserve Lena's kindness. However, at the same time, I don't want Lena to be upset with me over George and a shawl. Am I the a-hole for taking back the shawl? Edit. I've messaged the group chat letting them know that I took it, and if they should be pissed at anyone, then it should be me, but I would also do it again because no one gets to be an idiot to Lena. Yeah, no, I don't think you did anything out of line. It was so rude of him to do this. Yeah, the top comment, not the a-hole, I would have taken it back as well. It was so rude to uninvite your wife but still allow you to come. No point giving the shawl back now. What's done is done. I think it's awesome that you're standing up for your wife. I think your wife needs to stand up for herself more in the future because the family is 100% using your wife. But yeah, definitely not the a-hole. Good on you for standing up to them. Am I the a-hole for not disclosing to my daughter that she wasn't breastfed? Pretty much the title. I, 45 female, and my pregnant daughter, 23 female, were discussing the upcoming baby. She asked me how hard breastfeeding was, and I told her I never did. She asked me why, and I told her the only 2 people I knew who breastfed complained about it constantly, and it didn't really seem worth the hassle, especially since her dad left me and I had to go back to work 7 weeks after she was born, and I only got an extra week because week 6 was Christmas week, she was upset and accused me of hiding this from her. I said it never came up. So she's all mad and has a call into her doctor to see if she's at a disadvantage because of this. And I should have disclosed the facts before she got pregnant so she knew that she was malnourished. She was never malnourished. She hit all of her landmarks in infancy and was very healthy. I think she's being ridiculous and she thinks I'm a total a-hole. Am I the a-hole? Nah, definitely not. The top comment says, not the a-hole. My guess, your daughter has been talking about how superior breastfeeding is and how she thrived under it to her circle of friends. I'd guess that she probably also judged one or more other mums for not doing it. Now that she knows the truth, she's upset because she built her self-image around it. She might have even accused other people of malnourishing their kids with formula. It's a whole thing people do for some bizarre self-important reason. Yeah, well, that's an interesting thought because it sounds like they took it personally. Like, yeah, they had the belief that they were breastfed. That'd probably explain why they reacted like this. But yeah, no, I don't think the mum's the a-hole. Like they said, it never came up in conversation, so why are they just gonna say this? Like, hey, just in case you get upset about it in the future, you weren't actually breastfed. Am I the a-hole for leaving the table after what my father-in-law said? My 26 female husband, 29 male, and I were invited at the in-laws for dinner yesterday. Everything was going great until my mother-in-law brought up my husband's player phase in high school. My mother-in-law was just jokingly being like, honestly, him in high school? I never thought he'd actually settle down with somebody. And my father-in-law was like, yeah, even less with someone like you. What? I asked him what he meant by that. Both my mother-in-law and husband were then like, please no, in a, oh god, he's gonna mess up way. My father-in-law said, well, you weren't exactly his type in high school, you know. My husband tried to make him stop after that, but my father-in-law added, not saying you weren't pretty enough or anything like that, you just wouldn't have caught his eyes. I got up from the table and I went to the bathroom. I wasn't even in there for 5 minutes and my husband knocked and told me that we were leaving. Once we were home, my husband received a text from his mum saying that my reaction was childish and disrespectful. Oh my god, who are they to talk about disrespect? And they wouldn't be invited again until I apologized? Oh no. My husband replied that I'd only apologize if my father-in-law apologized first. He didn't get an answer, but his sister texted me that I needed to apologize ASAP because I was putting my husband's relationship with his parents at risk over a misunderstanding. It's not really a misunderstanding. Yeah, like this comment says, Pops put his foot in his mouth past his kneecap. Now mother-in-law wants you to apologize for Pop's jerk-ass statement to make everything nice again. Not the a-hole. Yeah, 100%. And by the way, that's a beautiful comment. It completely sums this up. Like, yeah, mother-in-law wants you to apologize for Pop's jerk-ass statement to make everything nice again. But surely the in-laws can see that they shouldn't have said that. Am I the a-hole for letting my brother and family stay with me after a flooding, but not my niece? I, 37 male, have been married to my husband, 41 male, for 4 years. I came out to my family as bi when I was 16, and from the very beginning they were nothing but supportive, and to this day almost my entire family accepts me for who I am. My niece, 20 female, is the only exception. She's my brother's 43 male daughter, and despite her parents showing no prejudices against the LGBTQ+ community, she doesn't make a secret of her homophobia. I don't know where her beliefs stem from, but the day I first introduced my husband, then boyfriend, to her family, she's been very hostile towards us. She was 14 at the time. She refuses to speak to my husband, barely even acknowledges us at family gatherings, and despite her father constantly chastising her, frequently uses the F slur to refer to members of the LGBTQ+ community and calls same-sex relationships disgusting. Oh my god. Due to a severe flooding, my brother and his family have been forced to evacuate their house. My husband and I have a guest room and a sofa bed in our living room. So when my brother asked us if his family could stay at our place for a while, I told him that him, his wife, and their younger children, 13 female and 12 male, were very welcome to stay as long as they needed to, but that we weren't comfortable letting his older daughter stay with us. He seemed to have been expecting that answer, and he told me that he understood my reasons. When he broke the news to his daughter, she was furious. Wow, you're furious? Asking where else she was going to stay and that she had nowhere else to go? Yeah, well, maybe don't be homophobic. Are you joking? From what I know, my brother offered to help her pay for a cheap hotel, but she doesn't want to dip into her savings because she doesn't work, and she's been living with my brother rent-free. Apparently, she's been staying with a friend for a few days now, and she's been telling her mother how awful it is there. My brother is still supporting my decision, but his wife has started trying to convince me to let her eldest daughter move in. She's been pushing me to get over her comments because my niece is still young and naive. Definitely not. And that she couldn't have known that her actions would have major consequences. She's advising me to be the bigger person and not let my quote-unquote hard feelings for her daughter stop stop me from helping a family member because that would be an a-hole thing to do. Hey, do you want to talk about being an a-hole? It's a mess around and find out situation. Like, these are the consequences of your actions, you know? Yeah, like the top comment says, not the a-hole. She's living with the consequences of her horribleness by having to stay somewhere that she doesn't like because she couldn't keep her mouth shut about her disgusting views on same-sex relationships. If I were you, I'd say that you're happy to let her stay as soon as she genuinely and honestly proved that she no longer feels that way towards you and your husband. I would never let someone who disrespected me and my husband stay with us, family or not, unless they were literally about to be on the streets, which she isn't, and even then it'd be the very, very last option. And also this comment, not the a-hole. Oh, what her mother meant was, she didn't realize she'd someday need the person she was dehumanizing. Tough crap, this is the find out stage. Don't deny her this important life lesson. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a huge life lesson for him. Yeah, definitely not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for blocking an Airbnb's view of my home? I've already posted this asking for legal advice, but I thought I'd ask for moral advice too. Last year we bought a historical property with a fair-sized chunk of land. The previous owners had run it as a small hotel, but they couldn't keep up with the pace at their age anymore. We turned the property back into a private residence. A main country road runs right by the longest edge of the unfenced garden, so we decided to plant hedges for privacy and to block off access in case my nephews visit and they play football, etc. There's a small gardener's cottage right at the edge of this line, which was sold separately when we bought our home. We made sure to keep any bushes between us and them on our side of the property line. We were unaware that the elderly couple had sold the cottage to a relative of theirs and that he'd planned to turn it into an Airbnb. We only know this now was after a summer of growth. The owner had finally noticed the small hedge and had realised what we'd done. He and the couple have sent official looking letters stating that we're impeding their reasonable enjoyment of the property, as they'd planned to market the cottage as part of the property with the views of a historical landmark, and once our hedge is at full height, that view will be greatly diminished if not almost entirely gone. So am I the a-hole for potentially damaging someone's income by planting these hedges? No, the reason that you're putting them there is a very good reason. It's an unfenced garden. Like, yeah, you want some privacy and you want something there that acts as a fence. That's completely understandable. And yeah, it's your property. Like the top comment says, not the a-hole. They'd planned to market the cottage as part of the property with the views of a historical landmark. Too bad. We are impeding their reasonable enjoyment of the property. No, you're impeding their enjoyment of your property, as is your right. Yeah, absolutely, it's your property. Definitely not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for buying my biological daughter a car, but not my stepdaughter? Before my daughter Christina, currently 19 female, started high school, I made her a deal that if she kept above a 3.9 GPA for her freshman through junior year, I'd buy her a car up to 20 grand, on the condition that if her GPA dipped below a 3.9, I'd take it away. She kept a 4.0 during high school, so I let her pick out a car before senior year. During her sophomore year, I met my now wife Jenny, now 40 female, and her daughter Emily, 17 female. Emily started her senior year a couple of weeks ago, and a few days ago she texted me asking when I was going to take her to look at cars. This took me by surprise, as I didn't realise she expected a car. Yeah, why would she expect a car? She has a 2.7 GPA and spends more time curating her Instagram than doing her homework. I explained to her that Christina received her car as a reward for good grades, not as a given. I later felt bad because I guess I didn't give her the same incentive that I gave Christina, and I told her that if she could get a 3.9 GPA with her senior year grades and get into an accredited college or university, I'd let her pick out a car upon graduation. I thought this was a fair deal, or even unfair towards Christina, since I made her keep a 3.9 for all 4 years of high school. But Jenny pulled me aside after Emily went to school and told me I was being unfair since Emily had different circumstances than Christina. Oh my god, there's nothing unfair about offering to buy someone a car. For background, Jenny's ex-husband and Emily's bio dad was a very wealthy man who spoiled the crap out of her. Everything she wanted, all she had to do was ask for it for the first 12 years of her life. Yeah, what, so now you're expected to do that? She didn't try in school because her dad promised that he would get her into any college she wanted and give her a job at his company afterwards. Then, when Emily was 12, her dad was arrested for serious tax fraud. Essentially, he's in prison now and Jenny has some money of her own, but nothing compared to the life of luxury that they were both used to. I think Emily's very hurt by what happened, and she also hasn't had the chance to develop a work ethic. I told Jenny I think my only wrongdoing was not helping Emily develop a work ethic sooner, and that my hope is that she rises to the occasion, cleans up her act and gets the car. I also said I would do everything I could to help Emily research colleges and perfect her application, but Jenny wasn't having it. She and Emily have both been giving me the cold shoulder the past couple of days, and they still think think I'm treating Emily unfairly? You're doing so much for them. I really don't know what to do. I want to give Emily a goal that's challenging but attainable, but at the same time, I don't want to put a strain on my relationship with my family. What the hell? You're being so generous. And by the way, you don't have to be, but you are. And the fact that they don't realize that is awful. Yeah, like the top comment says, not the a-hole. You're amazingly generous to make this offer to Emily, a person who you've only known for a few short years. The conditions are absolutely fair and reasonable by any measure. No one's owed a car. Jenny is way off base here and is being an a-hole for demanding this. She's undermining her own argument. Her solution to Emily not having developed a work ethic is to, what, give her a car? Instead of developing a good work ethic? No, full stop. I'd keep the offer on the table as a take it or leave it. If Jenny's more focused on spoiling her daughter and trying to make you the bad guy, you should take a very hard look at your relationship with her. She looks very bad in this light. Yeah, that's terrible. You're being so generous. Am I the a-hole for wearing scrubs even though I'm not a nurse? 5 years ago when I finished high school, I got a job as a kennel technician at a pet store. When I got the job, I was told to go get a few pairs of scrubs and that I need to wear scrubs to work every day. I help people out around the store just like all the other employees, but my main job was to help the vet take care of puppies. Obviously, the vet did the heavy lifting and I was just there to assist. I don't know for sure why I was required to wear scrubs when the most medical thing I did was give the dogs their medicine, and I'm pretty sure it was just so the kennel techs looked professional. The owner was a bit pretentious and was always concerned with appearing professional. 3 years ago when I started college, I had to quit my job at the pet store. I was determined to pay my way through college and not take out any student loans. As much as I loved that job, it did not pay very well. When I quit, I got rid of all the shirt scrubs, but I kept the pants because, as it turns out, nurses have been holding out on us and scrubs are really comfortable. I treat them like sweatpants. They're comfortable and just something for me to wear around the house on my day off, but I would never go out in public wearing them. Fast forward to 2 days ago when I went out to check the mail while wearing some of my old scrubs without even thinking about it. Our neighbor who lives in front of the mailboxes was out watering her garden and she perked up when she saw me. She got all excited and told me about how her daughter was a nurse and how she knew that I was in college, but she didn't know I was going to college to be a nurse. So I of course cut her off and said, oh, I'm actually in college getting a degree in history, and I go on to explain why I had the scrubs on and all that. To say that she was mad about me wearing scrubs would be an understatement. She compared it to stolen valor, when people dress up like veterans and first responders when they aren't. She went on and on about how hard her daughter worked to become a nurse and that nurses have earned the right to wear scrubs. I was honestly a little baffled because I wasn't trying to pretend to be a nurse, and now one of my neighbors who I barely know is lecturing me in the middle of our neighborhood. She posted on Facebook that afternoon that she saw someone out in public wearing scrubs, and that when she talked to them it turned out they weren't even a nurse. It was very clear that she was talking about me, but I do appreciate that she said it was a stranger at a grocery store, since she is friends with a lot of people in our neighborhood. I didn't even consider that I could be in the wrong until I saw how everyone who was commenting on her post was agreeing with her. So am I the a-hole? Nah, no way. Like the top comments say, not the a-hole. Your neighbor is gatekeeping pants that are worn by nurses and doctors and vets and dentists. Hell, I wore them when I worked at a plasma donation center. Yeah, nah, definitely not the a-hole. This is such a non-issue. Am I the a-hole for looking out for my new co-worker by telling her that her food might be upsetting to others? I, 32 male white, am potentially in trouble at work, but I don't really think I deserve it. My co-worker Anna, 23-ish female and Asian, is new at our office and she brings her own lunch on days we don't have a food truck. On Thursday, yesterday, she brought in a homemade stir fry and used our shared microwave in the break room to do it. I was in the room when she took it out of the microwave and it smelled heavenly. I asked her about the recipe and she told me it was just a bunch of ingredients and spices thrown together, as to not waste any veggies that might go bad soon. When I was telling her how good it smelled, I also mentioned that some other people at the office might think it would be too smelly or ethnic, as in racist people tend to look down on ethnic things. I've read those kind of stories on here about microaggressions when it comes to people of color and the food they bring in, and I wanted to warn her that she might not want to bring it in anymore so it doesn't happen to her. I emphasized that it smelled good to me personally though. I guess a couple of other co-workers in the room overheard our conversation, because after Anna left the room, some of them sort of quietly told me how it was inappropriate for me to have said that. I told them that it's true that ethnic food gets ridiculed for smelling too strong, and that I disagreed with the sentiment, but I also think she would face less harassment if she didn't bring in that food anymore. One of my co-workers then said that I was the only one harassing her and making insinuations that her food is problematic, plus the fact that she hasn't even been bringing in her own food since she just started last week, so there couldn't have been an opportunity to have had this hypothetical harassment happen to her. I just wanted people, yes, even the a-hole a-holes at the office to make her feel welcome. I left work that day not thinking anything of it until the following morning, where I hear from a different co-worker that Anna talked to our HR department about the conversation and how she was hurt. I'm a bit frustrated as to why she didn't talk to me about it first, since it was a misunderstanding and that I'm looking out for her. I did notice that today she was trying to dodge me, which is unusual and a bit heartbreaking. I just want to work things out. I wanted to be a friend to her and help her out, since this is one of her first jobs out of undergrad, but this has been blown out of proportion, and now my co-workers think I'm racist, but I really try my best to be an ally. But then again, what do I know? So am I the a-hole for telling her that her food might be a bit too much for other potentially racist people in the office to handle? Edit. Some people have said to edit this post to add this. Yes, I get it. I'm the a-hole. What I said was really stupid. If it means anything to you guys, I remember entering the workforce as a young man shadowing a-holes, and I didn't know how to express how crappy I was treated, since I thought it was normal to be treated a certain way or overhear certain things. I just thought she was a sweet girl who didn't deserve to see the nasty side of corporate life so quick, but I guess I ended up being like the guys that made my earlier career so god-awful. Anyway, I want to apologize to her in the most HR-friendly way this Tuesday. Hopefully she doesn't quit, but I also don't want to be the one that gets fired. Fingers crossed. Thank you for opening my eyes, and I hope to do my due diligence to be a real ally. Yeah, this comment. You the a-hole. Your co-worker is a grown woman who's been Asian her entire life. Do you genuinely think she's unaware that racism exists? All you did was put her on edge around co-workers who may not have even been racist. Congratulations, you're the one who created the microaggression. Yeah, 100%, but the good thing is they know this, and they're gonna go apologize, so hopefully that goes well. Andy, I'm pretty sure we all know what time it is. That's enough of this for today. Let's read something wholesome, shall we? The second dish you need to prepare: biscuits and gravy. I thought Alton said brisket and gravy. This is the single saddest thing I've ever seen on Cutthroat Kitchen. The contestant didn't speak English as a first language. Due to this, the judge didn't judge his dish as biscuits and gravy, but as brisket and gravy, and the contestant moved on to the next round. After this, Alton started explaining the dish that he was asking them to make in more detail to make sure that it didn't happen again. The correct way to react to language miscommunication. Yeah, definitely a wholesome mistake. I thought you said brisket and gravy. This Australian man built a tricycle that allows his disabled wife to go for bike rides. Oh, that's so bloody beautiful. And they'd have so much fun on their bike rides as well. That's such an awesome idea. My grandparents, me who plugged the HDMI in. Yeah, oh my god, you are a wizard. How do you possess these powers? I don't understand. Are you a scientist? That's so cute and a beautiful place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did, you know what to do. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And the comment of the day goes to Will Huberver. I want Vincey to read me bedtime stories while I drift off to sleep. First of all, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm happy that you enjoy my voice enough to want this. And secondly, I can't do this in person, but if you fall asleep to my videos, I'm kinda doing it. Or do you mean I should start a channel where I actually read bedtime stories? That'd be so wholesome and funny. But yeah, thank you for the support. Okay, I'm out of here. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!